Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network in our final segment with Rebecca Bomann, the CEO, broker, founder, etc. of SASH Senior Home Sales Services and SASH Realty, based here in the Pacific Northwest. And SASH is an amazing organization that helps seniors. Before we get into our closing, Rebecca, I really want to touch on what makes you guys so special for our seniors.
Thank you. Well, we go into every home sale where we're representing a senior or their family, because oftentimes we work with our clients' families, as if they were our own family members. How would we want our grandpa represented?
Exactly.
How would we want our grandma to be taken care of? You know, taking those extra 45 minutes to admire all the things that mattered to them in their home, the wall of photos of the grandchildren, you know, the cross-stitch collection, the quilts. Whatever it is, we want them to know this is about much more than your sale. This is about you and this big chapter of your life that's ending and a new one beginning. And we know how much emotion is involved. We know the journey that you're going to be on, the grieving that will take place, how difficult it is. The actual sale of the home, to me, is less than 10% of what we do. 90% is all of the care and the steps along the way and the household items and working with the family and guiding them over that bridge so that they land gently and happily in their new place after they've sold their home.
Yeah. And I think too, when you're looking at a broker, or like if you're a senior, you can't do the things that you did when you were in your 40s or when you were in your 30s. It's hard to lift boxes. It's hard to take things out of the attic. It's really hard to do all of these little things and a lot of times seniors, they've lived in a house for 50 years and they need light fixtures updated. They need faucets changed out. They need, maybe a new fresh coat of paint, little things like that, and they may not be up to speed on, what to do. Maybe there's just a refresh that a kitchen needs to make. Maybe the cabinets need to be painted. Whatever that is, you guys are up to speed and you help do all of that.
We do. We are general contractors, so we can come in and do any kinds of updates or repairs that are needed. And we have our own crews of subcontractors. We also provide packing and moving assistance and help with estate sales and online auctions. In effect, people call us and they don't have to call anyone else instead of having to piecemeal all those services together.
Right. And that's huge. And you don't have to be a general contractor of your move, because what happens is SASH will handle it all for you, which I think is the really exciting thing. So Rebecca, we've been talking in this changing market of what's going on. And I know we haven't really you mentioned something before we started recording, and I would like you to talk about really what's going on with the listings and what's happening out there with the market.
So there is, as many people might have seen, quite a few price reductions going on around the market, and people who are having their home sit for 15 days, 30 days, 45 days to sell their home, which feels very strange after the crazy frenzy of a seller's market that we've had for the last couple of years. So, it used to be 5 days and, 80,000 over asking or something. And now you're lucky to get your asking price in the first week. It's very different. And so the stat that you mentioned is an example. So in the last 7 days in the Northwest MLS, about 1,961 homes were new listings. So
wow,
1,961 homes were put on the market as a new listing. More than that number.
That's the Pacific Northwest area?
Yes, that's pretty much most of Washington state.
Okay.
But more than that number, 2,126 homes reduced their price. So that means more homes reduced their price than were new listings on the MLS. That doesn't even include 436 homes that canceled their listing because they said,
Wow.
we're just going to wait till the spring, or, we're not getting the price that we wanted. So we're seeing the stats are telling us a story.
Right.
And this is the data that your broker should bring you
Right.
about your neighborhood. Now, a word that I want to just throw out there that people should remember about real estate is that it's hyper local. So just because something's happening in the greater, Seattle area or Washington State or anywhere across the country doesn't mean that's exactly what's happening in your neighborhood.
Right. If you're living in a rural area, it's probably very different than downtown Seattle.
Right. Or if you're living in a really desirable neighborhood or a neighborhood where, there's water views or something. So that's where your broker needs to do their job, and they need to come in and show you what the data is for your local market.
Right.
Because that's what should inform you about what kind of listing price to pick for your particular home. And we've talked about the importance of choosing a broker, not just because of loyalty to them in a relationship, but because they are competent to represent you in the very best way for your bottom line.
Right. Right. And obviously that is very important in the fact that you interview that person, you realize this is the money that's going to fund your care. Like we talk about, this is the money that's going to fund later life. It's going to be an opportunity for you to move forward in a positive light. So this is not something, like you said, just because your nephew is a realtor doesn't necessarily mean that they're the right person. Maybe they are, and you're lucky, but in the other side of it, they may not be.
One of the biggest, most important qualities of a good broker is their communication. I just showed a home. I showed a condo on Friday night, just a few days ago, to a buyer. And I sent an email to the listing agent of that condo saying, hi, beautiful listing. I've got some questions. And I wrote it out in an email. Suzanne, 5 days have gone by and I haven't even heard back from that listing agent. Now that condo's been on the market 91 days.
Oh my
You
God.
sort of get an idea why the condo has been sitting so long when he's not even returning emails. But his client doesn't know this, right? Which is why people need to be asking questions and finding out about their broker's communication style.
Right.
One of the things we wanted to also mention in this last segment as we wrap things up is that homes sell every single week of the year. So maybe you didn't sell your home in the spring, maybe you didn't list your home in the summer and you think, now I can't till next April. Hogwash. You can list it the week of Thanksgiving if you want. You can list it the middle of December. I once listed a home on December 23rd and got 11 offers by December 30th. So homes sell every week of the year. They sell in every month. They sell in every season. They sell when it's snowing and cold, when it's blistering hot, every economic cycle, when interest rates are high, when they're low. Why can you count on this? Because people all need housing. Buyers never stop needing housing. We still need homes for people to live in. So even if you're looking around and you're looking at the headlines and people are talking in your group that you have board games with once a week and everyone's talking, you can still have a successful sale this week, next month, in the fall, in the holiday season, if you follow the tips that we talked about today. Great presentation, listing in the sweet spot, being ready to work with the buyer, having your home look great during that first week and not waiting, getting a broker to work hard for you, having a multifaceted marketing plan. You can do it. And that's what I'm telling my clients right now. We can sell anytime. We're going to knock it out of the park for you.
Yes. And, that is what's so important in the fact that, working with someone like you that is used to working with seniors and knows that you have things from years before, but also you're knowledgeable about what's a practical next step based on, if you're going into assisted living, what are you going to need? You know,
Yes.
how do you manage all of that? You guys have the experience. How many people have you moved into senior living in different stages? Probably
We can't count.
thousands, right?
So many.
And understanding too that this is an emotional thing. And Rebecca, I really want to close in the fact that, you know, that's the most important thing, is being present with that senior that is going through, you know, a life monumental shift in their life, and to sit and listen to somebody that, if you have a loved one, every memory of decades is surrounded in this environment, and it's not an easy thing for them to let go of. So be mindful of that with your loved one. And I'm sure, Rebecca, you are as well.
It's not a house. It's as familiar and close as a family member. The home that you live in for 50 years is as familiar, and you're as fond of it as if they were a family member. And so leaving it is like a death. It's the grief of a death. And so letting people express that, you know, not expecting them to be cheerful all the time about having to leave their home, letting them be genuine about all of the sadness they feel, and excitement, of course, about whatever's happening, but, you know, really coming alongside and supporting their unique journey in whatever it is, and allowing them to take things from the home that they'll remember that home by, you know, that
we have other segments from Rebecca on how to best do that. And I love that you've given those kind of tips, because I think it's really important.
It is important to recognize the whole picture, the big picture of what's going on, not just the home sale, and loving on the people that we take care of.
Absolutely. So Rebecca, how do we reach you?
You can look at our website at sashservices.com. Lots of history there and lots of information. Also sashrealty.com, and our toll-free number at 888-400-SASH.
Rebecca, thank you so much for this information. It's a good thing that we all know now a little bit more about what's going on in the market. And we're looking forward to having you back now on a more regular basis. So
thank you.
We're looking forward to having you, and certainly working with you in the future. And if you have any questions, you can find Rebecca also on answersforelders.com. And all of her podcasts are there. She has some great tips. And so for each and every one of you, just what I always say, be good to each other.
Thank you.
We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.